Good evening guys, just before dusk, middle of the week. I have a quick job on the bench. It's the first time I've looked at it. It is a Epiphone Les Paul Deluxe mini humbuckers, normal 2 volume, 2 tone, 3-way switch. Nice looking guitar, trapezoid inlays, binding. Pretty much standard for what it is, but a nice guitar all the same. So why is this in? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be honest, I can't remember. This came from a guy work. Now I know the nut needs gluing in because that's all over the place. Am I going to replace it? I don't know, we'll see. The nut slots aren't too low, so that's a good thing. I think I'm just going to glue that back on. I do also remember the guy saying there's something wrong with the input jack, so we're going to look at that. And what else do I think? Well, certainly I think the fingerboard needs a treatment and the frets need polishing. So what I'm thinking is I may as well set this up. We have the pickup ring there cracked. I'll get some super glue on there. We'll try and fix that up as well. So I'm thinking a basic setup on this, fret polish, repair the nut, repair the jack. 50 quid for the setup, which is standard. Gluing the nut in, fixing the jack, probably stick 10 quid on top, set a string, so you're looking about 65 quid for a job like this. It shouldn't take me too long, a couple of hours. It's something I'm going to do. I might do it tonight, I don't know. I'm waiting to hear back from the owner or a friend of the owner who bought me the guitar. So nice adjustable pole pieces on the pickups. You don't see them very often, or I haven't seen them very often. Certainly need to get that nut fixed. Once that's done, we'll get on with the setup, check the intonation and everything, we'll whip the strings off and we'll get to work on the frets and the fingerboard if he wants that doing. If he just wants a nut on the input jack doing and nothing else touching, it's going to be a quick 30 quid and I won't touch anything else. But let's see what happens. Wait for him to get back to me, so we'll see from here. Certainly I can crack on with loosening the strings and getting my nut glued back on, which I think I'm going to do in a minute. Just working on my nut area. You can see I've got a string spreader there, my strings all on the outside, and we're going to chip away at some of this old glue that we don't want in there. And I'm just taking a small screwdriver, we're just going to remove any of the old glue just by giving it a scrape nice and steady. And what I'll probably do with this in a minute is take a file to it. See the little bits of crap glue coming off there? And what I want to do is just take a small file. I'll probably I'll get one of my needle files out because I've got one that will just fit in that ridge. Could use a diamond file, don't really need a diamond file. I'm going to take a flat needle file. One of these years, Hilker brand, they're lifetime guaranteed. Not expensive but really, really good. And I get these out now and again, and it's just a matter of getting into a nut shelf and just removing some of this old nasty glue. The nut itself is a horrible thing. But he's not got back to me, he's not said he wants a nut changing. I myself would swap this nut out. I would stick a bow nut on there. But I imagine some people are a bit reluctant to spend 45, 55 quid on a hand-carved bow nut. I wouldn't be. In fact, some of my contemporaries are charging 65, 70 quid now for a brand new nut. I have to update my prices. But there you go. That's a nut shelf. All nice and smooth. This is a problem with the nut. An old plastic thing. I certainly wouldn't fit these myself. I'd go with a Tusk TUSQ by Graphtec or a bone nut. Pre-cut Tusk nut I'd probably fit for you for 25 quid. You're still going to need some carving, but this, I'm going to put this one back on because no one's got back to me, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be using some Gorilla super glue. It was more like a jelly than a glue. It actually works fantastic for sticking on a nut. So I'm going to glue it on with that, put it back on as it was. And we're going to have a look at the electrics. Frets, some minor wear on the frets. They could certainly do with a level and reprofile, but again, I don't know what he wants to spend, so not going to do anything till I've heard back from him. I doubt he's going to spend 135, 140 quid on this, but who knows. Let's see. That nut is horrible. I'd certainly swap that out myself, but anyway, I'm going to glue that back in place. I'm going to check the electrics and wait for a response. I've decided that on this bench, this is probably the best angle I can have the camera, because it's the furthest away from the guitar, so you can get all of the guitar in. You can virtually see, where you can see everything I'm doing. Now you'll see I've got the strings pinned back, and that's because I'm going to polish the frets, but I'm not polishing with steel wool. I'm going to be polishing with fret rubbers. These are from Crimson Guitars. These are a couple of years. I don't use them that often. I'm not mad keen, but they're good enough just to polish frets. So I'm going to use two. I'm going to use a fine one and the super fine one. And it's just a matter of going to be removing all the grime from these frets. It's been okayed by the owner of this guitar just to give it a set up. I'm not going to be doing any fret leveling or anything. Just going to set it up. Not even going to check the frets, because it's kind of out of my remit at the moment and it's not priced in, so there's no point in even really checking them. I might just check for my own curiosity. I'm sure they're going to be okay. It's a decently made guitar. It's a well-made guitar. And all we do with these fret rubbers have grit inside, and we do bring the frets out to a beautiful shine. Actually, it's not super hard work. Good thing about this, we don't leave any iron filings anywhere like steel wool does, or steel filings should I say. I have the nuts back on, gone back with the original nut, some deep slots in there. The thing with this guitar is to get it playing right. I've got some electrical work to do. I know there's a problem with the input jack. I've not tested the electrics yet. I may or may not change the strings depending on what I think of these and how old they are. They seem to be pretty new to me. But I could stick a set of Diodario 10s on there. I've quoted a price for the work I'm doing. Not expensive at all. The work's been okayed. End of the day, the guy's going to get a guitar back that works with the nut fine, the electrics all working, polished frets, treated fingerboard and a complete setup. It will also be cleaned, and I'll probably stick a new set of strings on there. Like I say, not a lot of work to be done. Let's call it a spring clean, a guitar spring clean. Nice guitar. Not tried it plugged in yet, not tested it. I'm going to be checking the intonation, the action, the truss rod, all your regular stuff. Every nut and bolt will be checked and tightened. All the electrics will be resoldered and working. For that, without touching the nut, well, gluing on the nut I do for nothing anyway, or touching the electrics, I'd charge £50 for that. We've done some nut work, and we're going to cut some slots, deeper slots in the nut, and we're going to do some electrical work. I've charged him a really great price for this. And I've thrown in a set of strings. If I need them, I'll throw in a set of strings. I've quoted him less than normal, because this will normally cost you £75 and a set of strings £80. I will check the frets as a matter of course to see if you're on the really, really high ones. In fact, we are up to frets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fret 10. I'll check them now because I've got the fret rocker out. I did have it out, here it is. Just check there's nothing untoward. Just go straight down the middle. Fret number 2 normally is out, and that one is. I'm checking down the middle. Just fret 2 is out at the moment. Fret 17 is out. Could do with some frets levelling. I'm not levelling them, and fret 20 is out, that's okay. Fret 2 being the worst. I'm going to have to sort that one out. I will level that one for free, but that's it. So I'm going to crack on, get these all polished, get that fret sorted out, get some lemon oil on there, and we can look at getting it back together and going and having a look at the electrics. Just working on this fret. I'm not going to tape anything up. Going to do it nice and simple, just to show we have high spots on this fret. That side's okay. Just going to take a profiling file, groove cut in there. It's a 3mm side, this one, so it should just hit the top. Just remove a little bit at a time. Just hit in there now. And that's good. And the next one along's good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the Stumac file, Z file, and when I've flattened it that way across the top, we're going to rebuild that crown using this Stumac Z file. Really easy. This is a file that will not touch the top of the fret, so we're not going to lose any height, but it will build up that crown like so. Turn it 180 degrees, do the other side. See the file is on there. And that is it. That fret should now be the same height as the others. And that's good. And one's next to it are fine. That's that fret done. Same again as before. Polishing rubbers. And that fret is fixed. Just check again, one final time, and that's beautiful. So with all that done, fret's polished, we're just going to treat the fingerboard with some mineral oil. You know it's lemon oil. It's not lemon oil, it's mineral oil, specially formulated for guitar. Fretboards, rosewood, palfero, ebony, all the dark woods. And we're just going to work that in, let that soak in 5-10 minutes, get it over grime, soak out, wipe it down. You can also treat the wood. I recommend you do this at least once a year, possibly every 6 months on a string change. And we've got excessive oil on there, don't need that much. We will just take a cloth, wipe away any excess, and there you go. And I'll let that sit for 5-10 minutes. I'll come and rub it off again with this cloth. Once that's done, we can get the strings back on, and we can get to looking at the electrics and getting the guitar all set up. You'll now see that the strings are back on the guitar, and they are the old strings. I will be changing them out, but I've finished the fret work, I've treated the fingerboard, and I've cleaned the guitar. It looks like a new guitar compared to how it was when it came in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to string the thing up now. I'm going to do a setup, set everything up and test everything with the old strings on. I will be changing the strings. We'll be putting on a set of Diodario 1042s, commonly known as XX. I'll tell you what they are in a second. Not 1042s, 1046s. EXL 110s. There you go. We'll be banging a set of those on shortly. Just going to get some tension in the neck. Don't turn it that wrong way. But I want to get it plugged in, test the electrics, see where they're going wrong. Should have done this off camera, shouldn't I? There you go, we've got the strings on. I'm going to get it plugged in, I'm going to check the electrics, see what's happening. Been told it's probably the input jack, but I will have a look and check everything anyway. So what I'll do is, I'll test it and I'll come back and I'll let you know what I find. Okay, this is interesting. We do have an intonation problem, whereas the A, the D and the E string, top E string, we can't get enough movement this way to get the intonation right at the 12th fret. Each one of them is falling flat. And I see that we have reversible saddles here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these saddles around, reverse them, and it'll give us another 3mm of adjustment, because these saddles are a flat side one side and an angled side there, and we're going to turn around so we have a flat side there and an angled side that way. we're going to turn them the opposite way round. I will be able to show you more once I've got the bridge off, but that is what I am going to do. It's a trick many guitar techs use, and it gives us more adjustment. So we're just going to check. That's good. A string, flat. We have no more adjustment, so we're going to turn that saddle round. D, also flat. G is a little bit sharp, so we'll adjust that further away. B string, fine. E string, a little bit flat, so we're going to turn that one down. So we're going to go the E, the D, the A, the D and the E. All the saddles we have a slant going toward the strap pin, and we need the slant going toward, no, we have it facing the neck. We need to turn it around. We need the flat bit coming closer to the neck. It will give us another 3mm of adjustment. So that is what I'm going to do. I can explain more once I've got the strings off. I will come and show you exactly what I'm going to do. But before I do that, I'm going to get my guitar plugged in, because it is in tune, it will be playable, and I'm going to test the electrics, and we're going to check this input jack. Regarding the jack, seems fine to me. Bit of a scratch there. Okay, yeah, it's cutting out a little bit, so I will get in there and we'll have a look. I'll clean it up, reflow the solder. If need be, I have some brand new replacements, we'll stick a new one in there. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe just needs turning around a different way. Certainly alter the height of the pickups. The neck pickup seems quite a bit louder than the bridge. Does need a little bit of alteration. And I'm still going to glue this pickup ring there that's loose there. Certainly needs investigating that does, so I'll crack on with that and sort that out, and the rest of it will be pretty straightforward. As you can see, I now have the guitar face down. We're going to have a look inside the cavity and at the electrics, and we're going to remove the jack, have a look at the jack because it is scratching. If I've got a suitable replacement, we are going to replace the jack. I do have some just arrived from China a couple of weeks ago. They're supposed to have been Switchcraft, but they're not Switchcraft, they're nowhere near Switchcraft size or quality. But if they're good enough, I will replace the switch or the jack in this guitar. What I'm going to do first is just have a look at the electrics. Call them electric, it's not really electric, what they are. They're just a few pots and a few wires. Okay. Very cheap pots in there. I'd imagine they would be, they're not even marked, so it doesn't say alpha on them. It's just A500 and B500 pots. B500 for volume, A500 for tone, which is normally, you'd think we're the wrong way around, because A500 normally stands for audio or logarithmic, and B normally stands for tone or linear. So you've got linear volume pots, which I actually prefer. In fact, I like linear all the way around. So you've got two A500s for tone and two B500s for volume. Wiring looks pretty much standard, pretty much okay. Nothing untoward there. So we're going to have a look at the jack and see why that's playing up. I will show you the electrics in a minute. But you've heard the jack or the lead going in and out, and it's scratching a little bit. It may just need to bend the jack itself just to create a tighter and better connection. May just need to clean it up a bit, get some switch cleaner in there, I don't know. I didn't check the pots for scratching, so something I should have done. I'll check that again shortly. That screw seems to be strip threaded there, so get a little piece of dowel in there or some match stalk, just tighten that up. So there you go, that one should pull out. If it doesn't, we will Okay, the jack looks fine. It's got twists in there. I would have thought if we can just bend that prong in a little bit. Don't even need to reflow the solder, those connections are good. Oh, that may be a little bit weak. Maybe we could reflow the solder in there. Let's just get it plugged in and see what's what. On with the amp. Fender Blues Deluxe is my amp of choice nowadays. Beautiful, beautiful cleans, it's why I bought it, but it's a stupidly loud thing, you can't even have it on one. Now I've got an attenuator on there, down at number 1, and I built my own master volume which sits in the effects suite, which is basically a 250k volume pot and 2 input jacks. But anyway, let's see where we are. Certainly that connection is better now I've bent that prong over. I think that's just normal. I'm certainly going to flow a little bit more solder over that, make that connection a little bit better, but I think the jack is absolutely fine. Just need to probably cleaner a brush in there. So we'll turn the guitar back over. Certainly very good. Pots aren't scratching, try it on the tone. No scratchy pots, which is good. That jack seems fine to me. Now I've bent this, I've bent the tip connector there. It was just a little bit loose. I've bent it over a little bit so we can have a tighter connection. Right, that's it, it's absolutely fine. I'm going to flow some more solder over the earth connection because it's a little bit loose. There's been a couple too many twists in this. Don't twist these things round. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to get the solder ironed out. I'm going to rerun some solder over those connections, but that's absolutely fine. So the main thing we've got to do now, turn some of these saddles round on the bridge. The E, the A and the D, we're not getting enough movement in there. What I could possibly do is, no, I need to move that anyway. I could probably just turn these all the same way. Turn them all facing the back. It's a, do these, oh, these might not be turnable. No, I can't turn these round. So what I'm going to have to do is probably I'm going to have to turn the bridge around because I can't, can I remove this? Oh, there is a spring on there, I can remove it. So yeah, I'm going to remove this spring and we're going to turn the saddles around. I'm going to turn them all, probably. Especially that needs to go the opposite way, opposite way, opposite way, opposite way. I might as well turn them all facing that way because we're all going to work that way. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll reset the intonation after that. So niggly little things, reflow some solder on the switch, turn the saddles all facing that way with a flat that way, flat part that way, so we get enough intonation, and set the guitar up. That really is it. So I'm going to crack on with that and I'll come back with a final update as and when. I've resoldered the input jack, that's fine. I'm going to show what I'm going to do with the saddles here on this bridge, and these two and this one are the wrong way around. See how the slope part there is there. We're going to face this round so we've got a flat part at the back, and that's going to give us an extra 3mm of adjustment because we need to move that way, that one that way and that one that way, and we can't because we're at the end of the travel. If we turn them round, we're already too far that way, we're going to have to bring them back. So I'm going to turn these saddles round all to face that way with a flat part going towards the neck. And how we do that is, it's not the most difficult thing in the world to do. I need to get a flat screwdriver to remove this spring. And it's just a matter of getting underneath. And there's a spring. And all I have to do is remove the saddle one at a time. And you see there, and where that slope is going that way, I'm just going to turn it round. So really, really simple. It's going to give me 3mm more adjustment. going to turn, and all we're going to do is we're going to turn the saddle 180 degrees, like so, and we'll place it back in the bridge. It should work. I've done this a few times before. The hardest thing about this job is getting that spring back in the right place. But there you go. I'm going to place it back in the bridge, and you now see that the saddle is now facing with the flat side to this side, and that's exactly where we want it. Just get it back in properly. It's only fiddly because I'm trying to face the camera with it. And there you go, that one's back in. And now what we're going to do is with a flat part back here, we're going to do the same with the other ones. But that's giving us more adjustment for that E string. It needs to go more that way. Going to do the same. I may as well do the same with these 3 saddles as well. We'll have them all facing the same way. So I'm going to crack on with that, get it back in, and the intonation will be absolutely fine. There we are, folks, we are all done with this. So let's recap what we have done. Well, it came in, the nut had snapped off, so we've cleaned up the shelf, replaced the nut or put the nut back on. Weren't getting enough intonation adjustment on the saddle, so I've turned the saddles round. So a complete setup, we've polished the frets, we've treated the fingerboard, I've tightened every nut and bolt, these on here. The strap pin was loose. I've also had the jack out, re-soldered the joints on the jack, checked the electrics, and I've set the intonation again, set the action at the 12th fret, checked the action of checked the relief in the truss rod, and put it all back together. And it's a very nice guitar, and I didn't know this. I looked at the back, and it's an unsung plant guitar made in 1998. Looking at the serial number there, U98. Now, Unsung Plant is a very good Korean guitar maker. Been making guitars in their own right for many years, but also been making guitars for many other companies. So they are very good and well respected company. These guitars are, I wouldn't say exactly sought after, but they are as good as the Koreans get. I love these guitars. Now, it does say on the truss rod cover Les Paul Deluxe on there, but on the sticker on the back it just says Les Paul Standard, so it might just be a standard. I don't know what makes a deluxe, no idea. Mini humbucker pickups, a standard. I've glued the pickup ring as well, which was split there, so that's right. So all in all, a very nice looking guitar. 1998, decent tuners on there, great looking thing. Scratch plate taken off, which I actually like. Plays really well, sounds well. The electrics are now all fine, there's no scratching on the pots, and it's a good guitar. Didn't need to touch the slots on the nut. In hindsight, I would possibly recommend replacing that nut. It's only a plastic thing. I'd stick a bow nut on there or a Graphtec nut. But anyway, end of the day, it's an Epiphone Les Paul, says Deluxe on there. It's a Les Paul standard by all accounts. Made at the Unsung Plant in Korea, 1998. Really, really good guitar. And all set up and working. One thing I didn't do, I didn't change the strings, didn't have to. I did snap the top E string, so I've put another Diodario on there. But we didn't need changing, they're pretty new strings, they're really clean, I didn't see the point. But that's it, all done. Plays fantastic, looks pretty good, solid guitar, 22 years old, and I'm sure the owner of this is going to be really pleased. So that's it, until the next time. So, as always, just before we go, remind you of my website, fretfriend.co.uk. Best place to check anything about me is facebook.com/NG17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I am Victor, I am your fret friend. And until the next time, as always, God bless you. Be good to each other, and I'll see you in the next one.